We are turning our attention to just a bit of politics and developments within the APC. We've got two gentlemen to shed some light on the impressions about some of the things playing themselves out. We've got Honorable Patrick Ikarele. He joins us. He's a former Chairman House Committee on Power, member of the APC. We also do have Mr. Paul Ohambamu, who is the Commissioner for Communications and Orientation. He will be joining us from Benin. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. Well, Mr. Karele, let me start with you. I mean, so much going on within the ruling party. We've seen previous letters that have been written by different people, including that one from the DG of the Progressive Governors Forum, and they have expressed concerns, saying, look, if certain things are not handled properly within the party, you just may not have its way in the next 3 years or thereabout for the elections. But even with the recent developments, Edo politics, non-exclusive, but from all of those concerns that have been raised, and with what you've seen now, more so as you approach the elections in Edo State, do you think that they have valid concerns, saying, look, if the party don't pull together in one direction, or most of them pulling together in one direction, there just might be huge problems which perhaps may cost to the breaking up of the party?
Thank you. Good morning, Chamberlain, viewers. I do not quite understand the direction they're talking about. Ordinarily, within any given political structure or a political party, going and heading towards the election, it is ordinarily expected that all hands will be on deck to work positively towards one direction to achieve a common goal and objective, which is, winning the elections. So if that is a concern of the people you've referred to, yeah, I think that is true, but it depends on the parameters and the angle from which they are looking at it from. Generally speaking, like I said, everybody will be concerned, every party member will be concerned that party members across board should work together towards the same objective, particularly when it's not a one-party system. You have other political parties within the state and the country, Edo State, and of course, Nigeria at large. So if that is the basis for their concern, fine. But if it comes to their personal attack on the able chairman, the person of Comrade Adams Ali Oshiomhole, who has done so well since assumption of office as the National Party chairman, and of course it is because of his capacity, and that the Nigerians, particularly APC members, know that he has to bring on board. That was why he was elected national chairman in the first case. And since he came on board, there has been magnificent improvement in the activities of the party, particularly in relation to, elections across the country. Yes, some critics were quick to mention issues relating to Ogun State, the Senator Amosu, Senator Rochas Okorocha, and my friend, the ex-governor of Taraba State then, when they came up having vigorous attack on the person of Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. And all these were because the person they were attacking on all fours was insisting on party discipline and party supremacy. You recall very clearly that the issues between Comrade Adams Oshiomhole and these people I just mentioned and a host of others that I'm not in position to mention right now was just because that the Comrade governor, as the national chairman of the party, knows the intricacies and what it takes to, winning elections and getting people of the party together and be happy as a one family. And the fundamental way to achieve that is to ensure that supremacy of the party is there and there must be party discipline. So, if for the avoidance of doubt, you probably will recall the issues that happened in why the then governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, had issues with a comrade. And it was just simply because of choice of candidates and somebody wanting to produce the son-in-law as a governor, at the same time wants to become the senator. It was not a matter for comrade. It was a decision of the people of Imo State who were opposed to him doing that, taking the position of the governorship candidate at the same time coming to the Senate and even wanting to project somebody to become one of the children to be a House of Rep member. So it was so alleged and there was no rebuttal to that. And as normal person would think, he got to the national and he was advised on what to do. take a choice. If you want to be a governor, I mean, if you want your son-in-law to be, if that is your choice, make it known to your people. Leave out the issue of senatorial candidacy. Of course, he opted for the kill. He wanted the two. And the Imo people, you know, weren't quite happy with that. I do not see the role Comrade Adams Oshiomhole has to play in that.
Okay, that's on the one hand. Now, assuming that were the case, what is the bone of contention in Edo State? Is there party indiscipline?
Oh, of course, yes. It started from there. And I'm happy you brought up this issue today. And let me state it very clearly and categorically, that the Edo State issue, you cannot deal with it without going to the very fundamentals. And I was happy when I saw the publication made by the SY APC chairman yesterday, Barrister Oshiomhole-Obaseki, where he went into historical excursion of tracing the fact that what happened, I mean, the Edo State is where it is today, talking about APC now, started from the issues of the primaries. It is most pathetic that Edo State was turned into, you know, in fact, not even the days of Idi Amin of Uganda would anybody have seen what happened on the 2nd of October 2018, when the primaries were supposed to have taken place. What we saw was brigandage, complete show of shame, where dictatorship became the order of the day. There was nothing like primaries. All the governor did was to, you know, get his special advisors, the various chairmen of councils, and some commissioners to go around the wards, collate, get the ward registers and write out the names of the total number. That was just their concern, to ensure that what they were bringing to the state was not going to be more than what is in the register of the various ward levels. I personally was supposed to be a candidate in that election. I came out clearly for the primaries. My supporters turned out en masse. On the whole of that day, there was nothing like primary. Before we knew it, before midday, they declared, you know, somebody that in fact, they had what they call, in their own word, I mean, their word, then they call it establishment list. Somebody was declared, and so many people were declared across the state. This led to, I granted press interview on that very day, and to the glory of God, the National Working Committee and of the party got to understand what was going on in this state was a far cry from what APC as a party stands for. So it was only natural and reasonable, and they did exactly what they had to do by calling on the state governor that you have done is clearly out of order and is unacceptable.
Honourable Ikariale,
we do not consider it.
Let's hold on that for a minute
and
join Mr. Paul
Yes.
Obamu, who joins us via Skype, the Commissioner for Communication and Orientation in Edo State. So now, you listened to Honourable Ikariale. He believes, is of the opinion that the issues we're seeing in the party, especially in Edo State, is as a result of what he calls indiscipline. Do you agree with him?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I don't think Honorable Ikariale is speaking the truth. He knows what happened in Edo State. I think so many letters flying here and there, and people worried about the life and sustainability of democracy in Edo State and indeed in Nigeria, because they see APC now as a party in conspiracy against its own fairness. And when these things begin to happen, a situation where truth is put in detention, law is arrested, and certain persons turn themselves into lawgivers. Let's go to Edo State, the primaries in October, which he spoke of. I think the thing was done twice. The first one was done in line with the constitution of the party, but Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, the national chairman, cancelled it and brought people, of course, in the pattern of showing that imperial face. People came from Abuja, conducted the primaries, and they left. Results were not announced here. They took results, went to Abuja, and brought out the list. If the governor of Edo State, Oshiomhole-Obaseki, had leverage and was able to put his people, how come 14 people are still with Comrade Adams Oshiomhole in Abuja? Why are they externally packaged? If the governor put his own cronies, if he manipulated the primaries, how come you still have people in Abuja who refuse to go to the House of Assembly to be inaugurated? So these are the issues. I think we should commit ourselves to truth. The truth of the matter is that there's this fight for dominance. Comrade Adams Oshiomhole was the governor in Edo State, And for 8 years, he dominated his space. For 8 years, he was not just like a colossus. Indeed, he was a colossus. And other men merely peeped under his huge legs to find themselves dishonorable graves. Now, he is the national chairman, no longer the governor. We have a governor now. He should be a governor both in office and in power. But Comrade Adams Oshiomhole has forgotten that you cannot have the best of two worlds. All the excesses you had and exhibited as governor, you cannot now as national chairman, because there is a subsisting authority here. Nowhere in the world that you have permanent champion. What exists in the world is a current champion. And Godwin Obaseki is the current champion. So we don't need to, drag these issues too far. It is the issue of dominance and the tendency to liberate oneself. If you quarrel with Governor Obaseki for trying to liberate himself, then there will be no justification for taking his powers from him in the first place.
When you say this is a fight for dominance, a lot of people would wonder and ask, what happens to governance? I mean, what happens to the fight for governance and all that? I'd like you to speak to that.
Thank you very much. The governor knows this very well. This is why we are beginning to starve these distractions and feed our concentration. The governor is working, and all these elements, all these things they do just to distract the governor from the positive trajectory. The governor is a promise giver, is a moral exemplar. They know this as a fact. A humane person, he allows the rules to play. But the truth of the matter is that Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, the national chairman, must allow the law to rule. The rule of law, that is the basis of democracy. Democracy celebrates law, the rule of law, not the rule of man.
But the thing is this, much as, yes, we've heard what you're saying, but how do you respond to those who think that if you're talking about this is about dominance, the comrade was governor and now he doesn't want the governor to be in power and dominate. There are those who also believe that, but wait a minute, the governor, the chairman played a huge role in him becoming governor. And then they accuse the current governor of not wanting to service the structure that brought him into power and ensure that, he concedes certain grounds, because there must have been agreements that they reached for the governor to have stuck with him and leaving every other person to support him to become governor. Because many say, look, without the chairman, he won't be governor.
Thank you very much. The truth of the matter is that there is no way you can say there's a sharp departure from governance in Edo State. All the things Comrade Adams Oshiomhole laid down, including the contractors who have been working for the state, they are still retained by Governor Obaseki. Obaseki has his own pattern. And of course, because of the destructive and innovative measures he has put in place, the resultant effect will be losers in both the political arena and the economic marketplace. So people are not comfortable in this situation. These are natural Luddites. They are conservative to change. The governor is saying, let me concentrate on governance. Let me use the money for the people, not for a few people. The governor is saying, Edo State has over 3 million people, population. A few oligarchy cannot take the wealth, the patrimony of the state for themselves. This is the basis. And
all right.
The issue of supremacy, sir, the issue of supremacy of the party, which Honorable Karale spoke about, I'm happy. It is the party that should be supreme, not man, not supremacy of man.
Let me bring him in to respond to the point that you just raised. Honorable Karale, what do you think of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he knows from the heart of his own heart that is what he's saying is absolutely falsehood, propagating falsehood. I'm not surprised at that. But let me quickly say, for a start, that he has simply contradicted in clear terms what the SY State Chairman, Anselm Jesua, published in yesterday's papers. Acknowledging clearly that the crisis in Edo State today started from the way and manner they handled the primaries. But he's saying that that is not an issue. But I tell you, he knows very clearly that that is one of the major issues. Over and above the issue of primaries is, let's go straight to the House of Assembly members he mentioned about. You cannot be talking of rule of law when, as a matter of fact, every step and every breath you take is against the foundations and what the tenets of rule of law is all about. it's of common knowledge that we run a constitutional democracy in Nigeria, and we have a free arms of government which is made up of the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. Of course, it's not by accident of events that we have section 4, 5, and 6, legislature, executive, and judiciary. The importance of the legislative arm of government cannot be overemphasized. And when you don't have that, you cannot tell me that you believe in anything close to rule of law. It's of common knowledge. We don't need to overflog the issue to know that when you cannot put something on top of nothing and expect it to stand. We know how clearly it has become, the lexicon today when we talk about nocturnal inauguration. For a start, you are required by law to make and give proclamation, and proclamation is not something done in secrecy. It's of public knowledge. People get to know when the house is to be constituted. This was not done. What we saw in Edo State was people were called up at midnight, about 9:30 midnight on that particular date, to do inauguration in Edo State, a state that is, in fact, it is not even a banana republic would that take place. You have majority of the members elect shut out of the system, and you are comfortable with that. For how long now? You say you believe in rule of law? That's a travesty. It is unfortunate. And that we use words loosely without minding and knowing the far-reaching implications.
All right, Honorable, let me bring in Mr. Obama on this one. Well, he says, you clearly heard him, that a lot of your actions, he says, the government's actions are predicated on the wrong. And so you can't be accusing the governor, the chairman on the one hand, whereas he says your government is standing on a wrong legal footing, some of the actions that have been taken previously.
Thank you very much. I think that is his own interpretation. He has given his own interpretation the way it suits what he wants to achieve. But the law is what the court says it is. On the issue of inauguration, you should know that that one has been settled. A court of competent jurisdiction has said the proclamation of the house by the governor is correct. And the governor is even restrained by the same court that he must not issue another proclamation. The 14 people, those who refused to come to the House of Assembly, they were given opportunity to go to the House, to be inaugurated. After all, amongst them, 2 people left them and came to be inaugurated. But these ones remain. And you have to attitude, just as the minus offices legalize for brutes. The truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, it is the constituents, there are various constituencies that voted them, that went out to give them mandates that have suffered. I don't want to go deep into this because the Speaker of the House has declared their seats vacant. And that one is the situation now. So they are coming back, talking about inauguration. That one is foreclosed as far as I'm concerned. There is no way we can talk on that. For people, 1 month, 2, 3, 4, up to 7 months, you refuse to go to represent your people.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Obamu. Now, what do you think needs to be done in order for the party to present a common front ahead of the primaries?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What should be done is this. 1, you must give every man his own due. Everybody has the sacredness of his own personality. We must embrace truth. We must do away with falsehood. We must be committed to truth rather than, carrying out activities that tend to undermine the powers of others. Everyone has his own powers. The Edo State government, as we speak, is free from frivolities. It's free from frivolities, free from all the things that the people are used to. And this is why it becomes difficult for them to agree to work with the governor of the state. But the people of the state, they love what the governor has been doing. He has kept his promises. He has been working for them. All the glories in terms of the education reforms, the health reforms, nobody can render nugatory. And I want to tell you that...
Yeah.
Yes?
Let me bring in Honorable Khaled. Let me ask him the same question so he can respond as well before we wrap up. Honorable, what do you think needs to be done such that your party can present a common front ahead of the primaries?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chamberlain. What needs to be done is what ought to be done from the onset. And they know it. It's very clear. And we just talked about failure of the government to do inauguration the way we all know it. If you saw the video clip of the inauguration, you saw somebody was on shot. And I have it on a strong authority that that young man was going out with his wife on a normal, evening ride when he was more or less abducted, like they abducted yet another, to make up that number. And you expect, I don't know, you see, it's most unfortunate that we speak from both ends of our mouth. When it pleases us, we try to overlook the realities of what it should be. Nobody advocates for peace of the graveyard. It's not enough to say that the other 14 members should have come to be inaugurated. Inaugurated how? Under what circumstances? When there is a complete violation, rape on democracy, rape on the constitutionality or otherwise, the rules of the game have been set. This is not, we started this experience way back in 1999 when this republic came into existence. So we've had houses of assembly inaugurated times and over times. So Edo State it's not novel, it's not new. So the issue remains that they know what to do, they know where they got it wrong, and they are just walking on quicksand. Every step they take, get them, sink them further and further. So the obvious thing to do is to go back to the basics. Where did they get it wrong? They all know this. That the proclamation of that house was not done the way it should be done, the inauguration of the house was not done the way it should be done. Let them go back to the basics. And once that happens, and those states comes back together, everybody gets back together. Until that happens, I'm not going to encourage anybody to participate in seeking for peace of the graveyard. If you are seeking for peace, seek for peace genuinely. So those who have been responsible, who are the architects of these anomalies in Edo State that has created a kind of negative impact from A to Z. And he's talking of frivolities. They are dealing on frivolities in Edo State at the moment. There's nothing concrete that is happening. He just mentioned something about education. I tell you, for the first time in Edo State, in the history of Edo State, we've not seen four schools, tertiary institutions, that matter so much. If you are familiar with Edo State, education is very key to the people of Edo State. This is the first time we are seeing schools closed down indefinitely for as long as possible since Obaseki has become the governor of Edo State. And you are talking about the people of Edo State are happy with the government. Who is happy with the government in Edo State, considering the atrocities that is going on here and there? Edo State has been turned to more or less a state of anomie, where lawlessness is the order of the day, courtesy of the activities of government and its functionaries.
Let's bring in Mr. Obama just to wrap up this conversation. And this is about, talks about a planned ouster of the national chairman of the party. And I'd like to ask you, is that something you're also a part of?
Thank you very much. The national chairman of the party is a man who was given position of authority but succumbed to human frailties. What is it? Dictatorship cannot sit side by side with democracy. We had national chairman, even before him, John Odige Oyegu was national chairman of this party from the same state, and we had peace. No one behaved like the demented lion in the wilderness. We had peace, and everything went well. So mine is that the national chairman should realize that beyond this position, you have been a governor in the state, you have been the president of NSC. Why will position of national chairman change everything and set cock and hoop, put everybody in problem, and then put the state in disarray? In any case, the ward, local government, and the state executive committee have suspended the national chairman. And this is what is even happening now. Why you see them, even at the National Working Committee, clamoring that it should not preside over their meetings. Now,
so, apologies, we need to end at this point in time. Paul Obama, Commissioner for Information and Orientation, joined us live from Benin City, as well as Honorable Patrick Ikarele, former member of the House of Representatives. Gentlemen, thank you both for talking to us today.